Tu-160 is a supersonic variable swept-wing long-range strategic bomber developed by the Soviet Union's Tupolev Design Bureau, now the Russian United Aviation Manufacturing Group. The code given by NATO is the pirate flag. At the same time, its elegant appearance and the white coating of the Russian Air Force have also given it the laudatory name of White Swan. Tu-160 is the largest bomber in the world, and is also equipped with the most powerful military aero engine in the world. The Tu-160 is intended to replace the Tu-22M bomber and compete with the B-1 bomber of the U.S. Air Force. The Rising Star Tu-160 is 80% faster than the U.S. B-1 bomber and nearly 35% faster than the B-1 bomber. Tu-160 has nearly 45% more range than B-1 bomber development history. In 1967, the Soviet Air Force proposed a multi-purpose intercontinental bombing reconnaissance aircraft. At 18,000 meters high altitude speed 3,200 to 3,500 kilometers per hour, a low altitude range of 11,000 to 13,000 kilometers, high altitude Asian speeds of 16,000 to 18,000 kilometers, with supersonic speed cruisability. Initial bids were Sukhoi Design Bureau and Myaksyshev Design Bureau. However, after the preliminary research of experts, it was believed that it was unrealistic to develop such an aircraft according to the technical conditions at that time, so the project was suspended. In 1970, the Soviet Air Force reduced its technical requirements. The maximum subspeed speed was reduced to 14,000 to 16,000 kilometers, and the sprint speed was 2,000 kilometers per hour. Participating in the bidding is the Tupolev Design Bureau and the Myaksyshev Design Bureau. The review results of the Topersov Design Bureau 1. The internal design number is number 70. Test flight in January 1975. The Tabarov Design Bureau frozen technology design work, and finally abandoned the original plan of Tu-114 and the Concorde aircraft, and changed to the Myaksyshev Design Bureau. 18 planned. Therefore, it can be said that the Tu-160 was designed by the two design bureaus above. On December 19, 1981, the Tu-160 prototype was flying. In 1987, he began to equip the Army and formed its initial combat capabilities in 1988. The Soviet Air Force originally planned 100, but the Soviet Union disintegrated at the end of 1991, and the economy was in trouble. In June 1994, MAP-160 was forced to discontinue production, and only 25 were produced. After the disintegration of the Soviet Union, the aircraft were inherited by Ukraine and Russia, of which 6 were Russia. And the other 19 aircraft were in Ukraine because they were in Ukraine. Design features. The most significant feature of the Tu-160 bomber is the design of the wing-body fusion. The wing is a post-wing of the wing. The 4-force turbofan engine is installed. And the two engines that are installed under the wing of the wing are near the two engines near the aircraft's center of gravity. Cross-shaped tail. The weapon cabin is located in the middle of the fuselage. The overall aerodynamic layout of Figure 1660 is very similar to B-1B. Similar overall layout shows that the designers of the two countries want to solve a common problem by adopting the same way. The characteristics of long-range bombers. Long battery life and large weapon loads and low-altitude high alias and high alpine high-speed penetration capabilities combined. From FB-11, reverse fire to B-1B and Tu-160. The layout of the wing after changing has become the only way to solve this problem. However, the Tu-160 and B-1B are very different. Figure 160 is about 20% larger than B-1B. Its wingspan, straight state, is 55.75 meters, full plunder, 33.53 meters, 53.95 meters in length, 13.72 meters in height, and a wing area of 370 square meters. Full of plunder, 23.84 meters, 44.81 meters in length, 10.36 meters in height, and 181.2 square meters in the wing area. The plane shape of the machine High-G, rear ration, exhibition ratio. Pivot point spacing and wing exhibition of Figure 160 is a large difference from the B-1B, similar to the reverse-fired bomber. In addition, the increase in the thickness of the wing root parts provides sufficient space for the retraction of the six-wheel landing rack. The tires will be incorporated inside the fuselage upwards. From the Pirate Banner wing root, it can be seen that the structural docking connector near the edge of the front edge of the wing root. This shows that the machine is designed by the fusion of the fuselage through the fuselage rather than design the wing as a overall structure like B1B. Power system. The 4.4 Kuznetsov NK321 force turbofan engine is loaded under the Figure 160 wing. The maximum thrust of the single stage is 137.3 thousand cows, the thrust is 245,000 cows, the engine weight is 3,400 kilograms, and the weight ratio is 7.35. The four engines of the Tu-1660 are installed under the two wings near the fuselage, respectively. The thrust generated by these four engines exceeds B1B. The B1B is equipped with GM's F101 GE102 liquid turbine fan engine with a single maximum thrust of 8,000 kilograms and 13,608 kilograms of intensity. The maximum thrust generated by the four engines of the Figure 160 is equivalent to the thrust when B1B kitey. The thrust when kitey is 65% larger than the B1B. Figure 1660's aircraft push-weight ratio is 0.36, while B1B is 0.3. Weapon system. Figure 160 has two weapon cabins, which can accommodate a rotary launch rack that can launch 6 AS.15 pole Asian-speed air-fired cruise missiles. It can also carry cruise missiles, short-range attack missiles, nuclear bombs, conventional bombs, a variety of weapons such as torpedo. In addition, you can also replace the rack with conventional bombs. The aviation system, Figure -160, is equipped with uniform fire control and navigation systems, and has warning radar that can pre-find the ground and maritime targets at a long distance. In addition, an optoelectronic sight, terrain tracking system, active/passive electronic confrontation system, and air refueling system were installed. Flight control adopts a central driving rod. The instrument equipment in the cockpit has traditional and mechanical electronics. There are also lounges, toilets, and food heating cabinets in the cockpit. Figure 160 is also equipped with electronic equipment for attacks and defense, and its volume and weight exceeds B1B. As mentioned earlier, the shape of the Wing 160's wing plane has evolved from reverse fire. However, because the engine of the Tu-160 is not like a reverse fire inside the fuselage but under the wing, its body is also slender than the reverse fire. In this way, the edge of the fixed wing extends almost to the head. This will inevitably increase the thickness of Jigen, thereby increasing the fuel capacity in the fixed wing. The internal oil of Figure 1660 is 150,000 kg service process. Before the disintegration of the Soviet Union, most Tu-160 was arranged in Ukraine. According to reports, Ukraine has handed over 8 Tu-160s to Russia from the end of 1999 for compensation for foreign debts owed to Russia. In addition, 3 Tu-95MC strategic bomber and related ground facilities were attached, as well as 575 cruise missiles. The last two Tu-160 arrived in Russia in 2000. In addition, Russia is also slowly producing a new Tu-160 bomber, the first of which was served in May 2000. On September 18, 2003, near the Engels Air Force Base in the Saratov region in Russia, a serious accident of crashed in Figure 160 occurred, and all four occupants were killed. Russia stopped all Tu-160 afterwards. The Russian Air Force said the cause of the accident was a new engine on fire. At the time of the incident, the occupants on the plane drove the plane away from the villages where 20,000 people lived and huge underground natural gas storage facilities, avoiding a serious environmental disaster. As of 2005, Russia had 15 Figure 160 bombers, and plans to serve them until 2030. On the afternoon of August 22, 2003, the Russian Minister of Defense Sia Ivanov flew to the Far East from the Saratov Air Force Base from Saratov. During the 9.5 hours of flight, Figure 160 conducted a series of projects such as supersonic flight, ultra-low altitude high-speed flight, anti-fighter attack, etc., and then landed at the Nevevik Airport in the suburbs of Vladivostok. Since 1987 Figure 160 equipment forces, Ivanov became the first ministerial official who took an assist in driving such strategic bombers. Ivanov told reporters at the airport that the two strategic bombers in Figure 160 were the first exercises to participate in the Far East. Russia is now transforming modernization in Figure 160 and is equipped with the latest weapons. After this flight experience, it can be said with confidence that Figure 160 is still Russia's proud long-range strategic bomber. In 2007, Russian President Putin signed an order to formally install the 160 strategic bomber. In the past 18 years, the Tu-160 has been in the trial stage, that is, the Air Force pilots who have drove it during this period are just test pilots in the strict sense. On December 28, 2007, Ivanovich Rolovlev, a test pilot of Tupolev, Russia, completed a new type of batch of production 160 aircraft in the Gasant-Kazan Aviation Production Consortium. Chauffeur, this is the huge achievement of the Russian aviation industry. In November 2015, Russia dispatched 5 pictures of 160, 6 pictures -95 milliseconds, 12 frame -22 cubic meters bombers launched an attack on Syrian terrorist organizations, throwing 144 bombs and 34 cruise missiles. This is the first time in Figure 160 use.